Earpad burning. It's something you might have heard before. To give you an example, most people who get an HD600 would say after a year or two, the earpads flatten. That puts the ears closer to the driver and changes the sound signature of the headphone. If you want to get your headphones sounding like new again, you'll have to replace them with a new set of earpads, and that's a whole big deal. Earpad burn-in, I would say, is still a hypothesis or a theory. Anecdotally, I know it's true. I deal with earpads all day, but have I ever measured it? No, not really. So when I got the opportunity to measure earpad burn-in, I took it. The story starts with Zeos messaging me, asking me,
"Okay, Delani, so for the first time, I'm pad rolling the Eris from a brand new set of pads from the ones in the burner rig, because I listened to it after like 3 days. I'm like, this still doesn't sound right. So I took one of my oldest sets of Eris that I've been using forever and put those pads on it, and it's so much better. So how do I break in pads like they've had 3 months of use in 3 days?"
When we develop earpads at Dekoni Audio, one of the ways we can figure out what's going on with an earpad is by measuring its weight. And it turned out that his older earpads were about 3 grams heavier on each earpad, so a total of 6 grams. So the theory became that the more you wear your headphones, the more it gains weight from the sweat and oils from your head. And then over time, we would hypothesize that this would change the sound signature. From my testing, I've come to find that a higher density foam, or more density, more weight, it increases the low-mid content of the headphone. So with this weight gain, I wanted to get testing it and figure out if that was true or not. Zeos had sent me a brand new set of earpads, never worn, unadulterated. He had been saving these earpads directly from the manufacturer. I didn't exactly get his earpads from him, but I had my own set of Erises that I've been wearing. And to measure them, I had about 1 gram increase in weight. So I haven't been wearing them as much as Zeos, but we can say there is just slight enough of a difference to see if there's something happening here. I A/B'd these earpads on the measurement rig, and the findings were very interesting. And it turns out that all of this was almost inconclusive. Could that be to the 1 gram weight difference? Maybe. Or could this really not be a thing? Okay, let's take a look at the measurements. On this graph, a lot of the deviation between the two sets of earpads was about 1 to 2 decibels. A 1 decibel difference is not necessarily something you can hear. That's considered inaudible. 2 decibels is about pushing it. Maybe if you're a critical listener or you spend a lot of time making musical content, you can hear that stuff. But there is a lot of deviation throughout the entire graph. So that's not saying that there's nothing happening here or that all of the effects are inaudible. I would say that the tonal balance does a shift between multiple frequency ranges, which might end up being something that is audible if you look at the graph as a whole instead of just taking out pieces of it. So burning in the earpads over months like Zeos did, is he hearing something real and tangible? Well, I would beg to say that yes, there might be a component to this earpad burn-in, especially since this test only covers, a 1 gram weight difference and is very limited in scope. I think in the future we need a lot more testing to understand this. Now, we learned a little bit about earpad burn-in today, and we came to the conclusion that more testing needs to be done. I think it would be great if you guys in the comments below gave out some of your opinions on how we should do the testing in the future, and if you want to see more of this content. This video is under our Dekoni University playlist, where we explore interesting topics and science around headphones. If you want to watch more of this stuff, subscribe below. And also, before we go, I wanted to let you know that Dekoni Audio is doing a flight and hotel to CanJam SoCal 2025. This includes a hotel and flight to CanJam, and you can join us or many of the other headphone manufacturers and ask more sciencey questions or just listen to everything that they have. Make sure you click the link in the description below. This has been Dylan with Dekoni U, and I hope you learned a little bit today.